Hi there, this is Jack Podak. We're live. I just wanted to share with you some of my notes I took from the other day. Watched a great interview with Sadhguru and Matthew McConaughey, and there was a few good notes on karma that I wanted to talk to you about. Sadhguru just recently wrote a book about karma and is touring all over now, um, talking about his new book. Um, he said karma is the bedrock of your memory. You have to see it another way. And I like this phrase. It's a good, really nice phrase. He said, boundless is the sky. Boundless is the sky. Boundless is the sky. Sadhguru said, may all your dreams not come true. And then that opens you up to go beyond all possibilities. And then the other day also, I was watching the Krishnadas Kirtan and Satsang. There was a lot of good question and answers. And they're doing a lot for India for the COVID relief, sending a lot of prayers and energies out. Same thing with the Chopra Center and Deepak Chopra and their foundation is doing a lot for India, sending out the prayers, healings. Krishnadas said, the great beings of life are dedicated to removing all suffering. Pass along the good that they shared. And through this, I'm passing on all that I learned and shared. And that's what we can do. Through practice and chanting and meditating, it cleans the mirror of the heart. It cleans the mirror of the heart. It cleans the mirror of the heart. If you want to find God, clean your heart. Clean your heart. Clean your heart. When you know the truth, that means we are all one. What is life all about? Life is all about transcending consciousness. All is one. We are all one. Our practice is increasing the awareness that you already know the truth and that we are all one. So our practice is increasing the awareness that we are all one. Love everyone. Remember everyone. Serve everyone. What feels good is letting go. We have to train ourselves to let go. And now I want to read from you a chapter in Napoleon Hill's classic Thinking Rich, which was written in 1937. It's called Thoughts Are Things. The man who thought his way into partnership with Thomas A. Edison. I'm going to read you parts of this book that I've highlighted in this particular chapter. Thoughts are things. Truly, thoughts are things, and powerful things at that, when they are mixed with definiteness of purpose, persistence, and a burning desire for their translation into riches or other material objects. One of the chief characteristics of Barnes' desire was that it was definite. He wanted to work with Edison, not for him. Observe carefully the description of how he went about translating his desire into reality, and you will have a better understanding of the principles that lead to riches. When his desire or impulsive thought first flashed into his mind, he was in no position to act upon it. Two difficulties stood in his way. He did not know Mr. Edison, and he did not have enough money to pay his railroad fare to Orange, New Jersey. These difficulties were sufficient to have discouraged the majority of men from making any attempt to carry out the desire. But his was no ordinary desire. It was a burning desire. He stood there before looking at Edison that he was determined to get what he had come after, because I saw he made up his mind to stand by until he succeeded. Subsequent events proved that no mistake was made. He was constantly intensifying his desire to become the business associate of Edison. Psychologists have correctly said that when one truly is ready for a thing, it puts it in its appearance. Quote, he said, "I came here to go into business with Edison, and I'll accomplish this end if it takes the remainder of my life." And he meant it. But his bulldog determination, his persistence in standing back of a single desire was destined to mow down all opposition and bring him the opportunity he was seeking. Sly disguises of opportunity. When the opportunity came, it appeared in a different form and from a different direction than Barnes had expected. Barnes knew he could sell the Edison dictating machine, and he did sell the machine. Out of that business association, Barnes made himself rich in money, but he did something infinitely greater. He proved that one really may think and grow rich. That intangible impulsive thought can be transmuted into material rewards by the application of known principles. Definite demands and definite principles are the key to riches. Barnes literally thought himself into a partnership with the great Edison. He thought himself into a fortune. Truly, thoughts are things. 3 feet from gold. One of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by a temporary defeat. Every person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another. An uncle of R.U. Darby was caught by gold fever in the gold rush days and went west to dig and grow rich. He had never heard that more gold has been mined from the thoughts of men than has ever been taken from the earth. I will never stop because men say no. I stopped 3 feet from gold, but I will never stop because men say no when I asked them to buy insurance. Darby became one of the small group of men who sell over $1 million in life insurance annually. He owed his stickability to the lesson he learned from his quitability in the gold mining business. Before success comes in any man's life, he is sure to meet with much temporary defeat and perhaps some failure. When defeat overtakes a man, the easiest and most logical thing is to quit. That is exactly what the majority of men do. More than 500 of the most successful men this country has ever known told the author their greatest success came just one step beyond the point at which defeat had overtaken them. Failure is a trickster with a keen sense of irony and cunning. It takes great delight in tripping one when success is almost within reach. A 50-cent lesson in persistence. These and other similar questions flashed into Darby's mind, but he did not find the answer until years later when he told me the story. Strangely, the story of the unusual experience was told to the author in the old mill on the very spot where the uncle took his whipping. The strange power of a child. As we stood there in that musty old mill, Mr. Darby repeated the story of the unusual conquest and finished by asking, quote, "What can you make of it? What strange power did that child use so completely whip my uncle?" The answer to his question will be found in the principles described in this book. The answer is full and complete. It contains details and instructions sufficient to enable anyone to understand and apply the same force that the little child accidentally stumbled upon. Keep your mind alert, and you will observe exactly what strange power came to the rescue of the child. You'll catch a glimpse of this power in the next chapter. Somewhere in the book, you'll find an idea that will quicken your receptive powers and place at your command for your own benefit the same irresistible power. The awareness of this power may come to you in the first chapter or it may flash into your mind in some subsequent chapter. It may come in the form of a single idea, or it may come in the nature of a plan or a purpose. Again, it may cause you to go back into your past experiences of failure or defeat and bring to the surface of some lesson by which you regain all that you lost through defeat. After I had described to Mr. Darby the power unwittingly used by the little child, he quickly retraced his 30 years of experience as a life insurance salesman and frankly acknowledged that his success in this field was due in no small degree to the lesson he had learned from that child. Mr. Darby pointed out, every time a prospect tried to bow me out without buying, I saw that child standing there in the old mill, his big eyes glaring in defiance, and I said to myself, quote, I've got to make this sale. The better portion of all sales I've made were made after people had said no. He recalled, too, his mistake in having stopped from 3 feet from gold. But he said, quote, that experience was a blessing in disguise. It taught me to keep on keeping on, no matter how hard the going may be, a lesson I needed to learn before I could succeed in anything. This story of Mr. Darby and his uncle and the child and the gold mine doubtless will be read by hundreds of men who make their living by selling life insurance. And to all of these, the author wishes to offer the suggestion that Darby owes these two experiences his ability to sell more than $1 million of life insurance every year. Mr. Darby's experiences were commonplace and simple enough, yet they held the answer to his destiny in life. Therefore, they were as important to him as life itself. He profited by these two dramatic experiences because he analyzed them and found the lesson they taught. But what of the man who has neither the time nor the inclination to study failure in search of knowledge that they may lead to success? Where and how is he learn the art of converting defeat into stepping stones to opportunity? In answer to these questions, this book was written. One sound idea is all you need. The answer called for a description of 13 principles. But remember, as you read, the answer you may be seeking to the questions that have caused you to ponder over the strangeness of life may be found in your own mind through some idea, plan, or purpose that may spring into your mind as you read. One sound idea is all that one needs to achieve success. The principles described in this book contains ways and means of creating useful ideas. Before we go any further in our approach to the description of these principles, we all believe you are entitled to receive this important suggestion. This is one of the most important promises of the entire book. Listen carefully. When riches begin to come, they come so quickly in such great abundance that one wonders where they have been hiding during all those lean years. Listen carefully again. I'm going to repeat it once more. When riches begin to come, they come so quickly in such great abundance that one wonders where they have been hiding during all those lean years. Again, this is the most important promise of this book. When riches begin to come, they come so quickly and in such great abundance that one wonders where they have been hiding during all those lean years. When the tap is on, it is on. This is an astounding statement, and all the more so when we take into consideration the popular belief that riches come only to those who work hard and long. When you begin to think and grow rich, you'll observe that riches begin with a state of mind, with definiteness of purpose, with little or no hard work. You and every other person ought to be interested in knowing how to acquire that state of mind that will attract riches. I spent 25 years in research because I too wanted to know how wealthy men became that way. Your financial status will begin to improve, and everything you touch will begin to transmute itself into an asset for your benefit. Impossible? Not at all. One of the main weaknesses of mankind is the average man's familiar with the word impossible. Success comes to those who become success conscious. The object of this book is to help all who seek it to learn the art of changing their minds from a failure consciousness to a success consciousness. The impossible Ford V8 motor. Henry Ford's experiencing the V8 motor and building that tremendous Ford automobile. Ford said, "Produce it anyway." But they replied, "It's impossible." "Go ahead," Ford commanded, "and stay on the job until you succeed, no matter how much time is required." The engineers went ahead. There was nothing else for them to do if they were to remain on the Ford staff. 6 months went by. Nothing happened. Another 6 months passed, and still nothing happened. The engineers tried every conceivable plan to carry out the orders, but the thing seemed out of the question. Impossible. At the end of the year, Ford checked with his engineers, and again they informed him that they had found no way to carry out his orders. "Go right ahead," said Ford. "I want it, and I'll have it." They went ahead, and then, as by a stroke of magic, the secret was discovered. The Ford determination had won once more. Henry Ford was a success because he understood and applied the principles of success. One of these is desire, knowing what one wants. Remember this Ford story as you read, and pick out the lines which the secret of a stupendous achievement have been described. If you can do this, if you can lay your finger on the particular group of principles that made Henry Ford rich, you can equal his achievements in almost any calling for which you are suited. Why you are the master of your fate. When Henry wrote the prophetic lines, "I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul," before he should have informed us that we are the masters of our fate, the captains of our souls, because we have the power to control our thoughts. These thoughts become magnetized, and with our dominating thoughts we hold in our minds. These magnets attract to us the forces, the people, the circumstances of life that harmonize with the nature of our dominating thoughts. We must magnetize our minds with intense desire for riches, that we must become money consciousness until the desire for money drives us to create definite plans for acquiring it. Little by little, the truth has unfolded itself until now appears certain that the principles described in this book hold the secret of mastery over our economic fate. Principles that can change your destiny. We are now ready to examine the first of these principles. Maintain a spirit of open mindedness, and remember as you read, they are the invention of no one man. The principles have worked for many men. You can put them to work for your own enduring benefit. You'll find it easy and not hard to do. It gives you an idea of the rewards to come. Here's a letter to Napoleon Hill, a testimonial of what this book, The Hero Wrote, can do for you. "My dear Napoleon, in 1922, you delivered the commencement address at the Salem College when I was a member of the graduating class. I now have to serve the people of my state, will be responsible in a very large measure for whatever success I have made in the future. I recall as though it was yesterday the marvelous description you gave of the method by which Henry Ford, but with little schooling, without a dollar, with no influential friends, rose to great heights. I made up my mind that even before you had finished your speech, that I would make a place for myself, no matter how many difficulties I had to surmount. Thousands of young people will be finishing their schooling this year, and within the next few years, every one of them will be seeking just a message of practical encouragement as the one I received from you. They will want to know where to turn, what to do to get started in life. You can tell them because you have helped to solve the problems of so many people. There are thousands of people in America today who would like to know how they can convert ideas into money. People who must start from scratch without finances and recoup their losses. If anyone can help them, you can. If you publish the book, I would like to own the first copy that comes from the press, personally autographed by you. With best wishes, believe me, cordially yours, Jennings Randolph. 35 years after I made that speech, it was my pleasure to return to Salem College in 1957 and deliver the baccalaureate sermon. At that time, I received an honorary Doctor of Literature degree from Salem College. Since that time in 1922, I watched Jennings Randolph rise to become one of the nation's leading airlines executives, a great inspirational speaker, and a United States Senator from West Virginia. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Desire, the starting point of all achievement. You can achieve anything if your thoughts are like a king. He left himself no possibility of retreat. He had to win or perish. That is all there is to the barn story of success. 6 ways to turn desire into gold. Every human being who reaches the age of understanding the purpose of money, wishing for it, wishing will not bring riches, but desiring riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquiring riches, and backing those plans with persistence, which does not recognize failure, will bring riches. 1. Fixing your mind the exact amount of money you desire. Be definite as to the amount. 2. Determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. 3. Establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. And 4. Create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether ready or not, to put the plan into action. 5. Write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, name the time limit for its acquisition, and state and intend what you're going to give in return for the money, and then describe exactly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. And number 6, read your written statement aloud twice daily, once just before retiring at night and once after rising in the morning. As you read, see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. As you read, see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. As you read, see and feel and believe you're already in possession of the money. You must see yourself in possession of the money. That comes from visualizing the success and abundance now that you wish to have in the future. Here is where a burning desire will come to your aid and a keen imagination. Can you imagine yourself a millionaire? Andrew Carnegie did it. He started off as a ordinary laborer in the steel mills, but managed, despite his humble beginnings, to make these principles yield him a fortune of considerably more than $100 million. Thomas A. Edison used these principles to become the best inventor in the world, creating the light bulb, in which he failed over 10,000 times. But he said, I did not fail 10,000 times. I just tried out 10,000 ways that didn't work. And now I've perfected the light bulb. The steps call for no hard labor. They call for no sacrifice. They do not require one to become ridiculous or ridiculous. To apply them calls for no great amount of education, but the successful application of these 6 steps does call for sufficient imagination to enable one to see and to understand that accumulation of money cannot be left for chance or good luck. Or one must realize that one who has accumulated great fortunes first did a certain amount of dreaming, hoping, wishing, desiring, and planning before they acquired money. The power of great dreams. We who are in the races for riches should be encouraged to know that this changed world in which we live is demanding new ideas, new ways of doing things, new leaders, new inventions, new methods of teaching, new methods of marketing, new books, new literature, new features for television, new ideas for moving pictures. Back of all this demand for new and better things, there is one quality that one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants and a burning desire to possess it. We who desire to accumulate riches should remember the real leaders of the world always have been men who harnessed and put into practical use the intangible, unseen forces of unborn opportunity and have converted those forces or impulses of thought into skyscrapers, cities, factories, airplanes, automobiles, and every form of convenience that makes life more pleasant. In planning to acquire your share of the riches, let no one influence you to scorn the dreamer. To win the big stakes in this changed world, you must catch the spirit of the great pioneers of the past, whose dreams have given to civilization all that has of value, the spirit that serves as the lifeblood of our own country. Your opportunity and mine to develop and market our talents. If the thing you wish to do is right and when you believe in it, go ahead and do it. Put your dreams across and never mind what they say. If you meet with temporary defeat, for they perhaps do not know that every failure brings with it seed and influence success. The world is filled with an abundance of opportunity that the dreamers of the past never knew. Open-mindedness is essential for belief. Remember, no more effort is required to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity, than is required to accept misery and poverty. A great poet has correctly stated this universal truth in this poem. It says here, I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I beg that evening when I counted my scanty store, for life is a just employer. He gives you what you ask, but once you have set the wages, why you must bear the task. I worked for a meaningless hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. I believe in the power of desire backed by faith, because I have seen this power lift men from lowly beginnings to places of power and wealth. I've seen it rob the grave of its victims. I've seen it serve as the medium by which men stage a comeback after being defeated in 100 different ways. I've seen it provide my own son with a normal, happy, and successful life, despite nature having sent in the world without ears. How can one harness and use the power of desire? This has been answered through this and subsequent chapters of this book, through some strange and powerful principle of mental chemistry which he has never divulged. Nature wraps up in the impulse of strong desire. That's something that recognizes no such word is impossible and accepts no such reality as failure. And that concludes today's reading. And I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy. Namaste. God be with you. Peace.